You're listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundram, and with my co host Ashley Case, we will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry. Today's guest is Abhijit Majumdar. Abhijit is APMP Professional Level certified, the first one to achieve this milestone in India. With 30 plus years of experience in the information technology industry, working for global IT organizations. Abhijit is also part of the APMP Governing Board of India. He's passionate and engaging trainer in bid and proposal best practices and has trained over 500 participants from the industry in the past 8+ years. He has conducted international workshops in Singapore and Kenya and many parts of cities in India as well, and online training programs, including APMP Foundation Level training with 100% success rate. Abhijit is a technology evangelist for DraftSpark, a Xerox PARC company, and has spent a large part of his career winning strategic IT deals around the globe through his innovative and customer-centric approach and solutions. His last corporate stint was at Zenzar Technologies until October 2016, when he left to pursue his entrepreneurial vision. His company, Optimizery Technologies, which he co-founded, develops software products for systems engineering, and Int Glory Technologies is his personal consulting company where he trains and mentors bid and proposal management professionals to excel in their role and organization. So welcome, Abhijit, to Scribble Talk. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Bhaskar. It's a great privilege to be here, and I'm all yours.
Thank you, Abhijit. Let's go back to the very beginning, Abhijit. Where were you born? And let's talk about your high school and education.
Okay, I was actually born in although my parental heritage is from Bengal, but actually I was born in a small industrial town of central India called Bhilai, which is known for its steel plant. So my father was working there in Bhilai steel plant. My mother, she was a housewife in our during when we were in school. After that, of course, she became an educator. But yeah, I was born in Bhilai. My education, schooling level, senior schooling level, and even my graduation level all happened in and around Bhilai. So that's where I come from. So, but yeah, my parental heritage is from Bengal. So, yeah, so you can say that I have a mix of cultures. I'm not a pure Bengali, but I'm not. Yeah, I have some traits of Bengali of being a Bengali, but I am a pure play Chhattisgarhi. Now this part of the erstwhile it was Madhya Pradesh, but now it is Chhattisgarh. So I proudly call myself a Chhattisgarhi.
Got you. But I'm sure if somebody gives you a Rasagulla, you will jump on it with two arms, I
Oh,
would say.
definitely, I have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth. So that's why I
Yes,
maintain that I have a parental heritage of Bengal.
definitely. That's nice. So from Billai, did you do your bachelor's or where did you
Yeah.
your higher
So I
education?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I did my bachelor's from Bhilai itself. Actually, the district town of Bhilai. Bhilai was not even a district. So the district town of Bhilai is called Durg. So I did my bachelor's of science from Durg Science College, Government Science College, Durg. Okay. So, but let me give you something here, Bhaskar, to
Mm,
ponder upon that till class 10th I was a meritorious student. Okay,
mm,
I was a great student, a meritorious student. And after 10th somehow it happened like after between the break of 10th and that 11th there was a summer. So we used to have this summer vacation, right?
yeah.
So during that summer vacation there was a dramatics camp which was going on. Okay,
Mm,
a camp of dramatics which was going on, and I suppose I just attended because okay, and it was actually a part of the school engagement that you have to be a part of any one. Either you have to attend a sports camp or you have to do something or something. I found that the dramatics camp was the most easiest one where you don't have to literally do much of things. Maybe do something, and sports camp means you have to run around and do all these things. So I was never a very avid sports guy. Rather, you may call me lazy guy who would not like to do anything around. Even when I had to play football, I would prefer to be the goalkeeper. If I had to play cricket, I would like to field on the boundary. So that sort of person I was, even in my childhood. So I just attended this dramatics workshop, which was actually being taken. I still remember his name, and he was a great theatrical artist called Habib Tanvir, and he was basically taking this workshop for kids, or rather the school class 10th and 8th and some people. And I found it really very interesting. Now there was a there was a contradiction over there, that you are one character but you are trying to live another character. You are trying to be another character the moment you are on the stage, the moment you are trying to say the dialogue. So there is a sort of a, you have to do a sort of exploration into the other character and understand what that character, and be that character for that particular moment when you are on that stage. Okay. And I found it very interesting for me. On the other side of it, from when you get back to reality, the careers, and I think I don't know how your career was defined, but in those times, and I'm talking of 80s, yeah, class 1980, right? Exactly. Uh, Careers were very predefined. If you are a guy, you have to be an engineer. If you are a girl, you have to be a doctor. That's the first level. If you can't become an engineer, then there is a, either you go for a banking job, or you go for a government job, because those are the secure jobs. Okay. Or anything else than that is insecure. That itself is not a job. It was not a job. So for me, it was like defined that I had to be an engineer by default. But somehow I realized that, yeah, that early realization came, is that there is being an engineer is means like, and I thought I have being from industrial town, I was seeing that what do engineers do? They get up in the morning, they go to the plant, they get all they take their bath and go fresh into the bath, and when they come out, they're all black in suit and oil and grease. And then they come, and then they maybe go to the market, buy some vegetables and other things, come back home, eat, go to sleep, next day morning go. I said, what sort of life is that? I don't want to live that life. But again, now you can think like, you can think of that, but you can't express that, right? And then when the class 10th results came, I was a CBSE student. I scored pretty distinctively in both science, in maths, in all these subjects, mostly in all these subjects. I had a pretty decent score. That means uh, I was in the top 10 of the region. So it was very defined that, okay, so since you have passed 12th, so now so 10th, now you have to choose your subjects. So your subjects has to be like maths, physics, chemistry, English. And since you are in the tops, that strata, you have an additional subject, which is engineering drawing. That gives you, because that gives you an additional point when you go for your engineering, when you go for your engineering exam. So for me, it was defined. My dad had already got me that a T scale for engineering drawing, the and those you have these big geometric drawings, things. So for me, it was all defined that I had to be an engineer, and somehow I could not muster that courage to tell my dad that, no, I don't want to be an engineer. Rather, I want to be a into I want to go into theater, or even I didn't know what to do exactly. Saying in theater, going to theater would have been a wrong thing, because I didn't know. But it was definitely in my mind that I don't want to be an engineer. I was seeing all this happening. Everybody is going ga ga that he's going to be he has been selected for engineering drawing section, ED section, and all these things happening now. Somehow one day I mustered the courage. I didn't see. Okay, I have a younger sister. She is 4 years older to me. Uh, and and because okay because the siblings in front of each other, we don't want that we get beaten up in front of each other. So whatever we had to share, we would share in private with our dad or mom. So that so happened that that day my mother and sister were not there at home, and my father was there. And so I just went up to him and I said, you know, I actually am thinking that I'm not the right type of person to be an engineer. He went silent for I think he was doing something. He just dropped that and started looking at me, and I was literally frozen. I said that now I'm going to get mother. Yeah. And okay, physically, I was a very lean and short guy. I was one of the shortest. I used to stand in the first in the assembly. I was the shortest guy in the assembly. Okay. Now, and I was a very lean and short guy. So he looked at me and he said, "So what do you want to be?" Somehow I gathered. I said, "Okay, I'm getting a hearing over here." So somehow I gathered myself and I said, "I want to be a artist." And at that time artist meant only a film artist. Okay, the stage artist and all other artists, they will not recognize it. So there was no that was only a pastime thing. Okay, there was no professional artist, something called a professional artist. So only thing is that film artist. So he looked at me and he said, and I still remember the dialogue, and I have that. He just gave me a link that, so you want to be a film artist. Have you ever looked at your chassis? Yeah, this is exactly the word he used, chassis. Okay, because we are from engineering words of structure. So have you ever looked at your chassis? You can't ever be a hero, and I don't want to be a father of a comedian. Now that was something like a smelting lead in your ears for me. And of course, anyway, I didn't have much choices at that moment of time. I said, fine. But then I determined within myself is that, okay, it's your time. So you can make me go to the school with the engineering, to the engineering drawing section and to become an engineer. But I will never become an engineer. That's something it has decided. So anyway, so after 10th, my interest in studies was only to the limit to pass the exam, because of course I could not fail. I could not take that I would fail. So I had to pass the exam. So somehow I passed my 11th, I passed my 12th, and then there was this engineering exam to be given. And somehow my father was understanding that something is going on within this guy's head. And he again asked me that, do you really want to be a artist? I said, are you going to let me become an artist? He said, if you can become an artist on your own, go ahead and become. Now, for me at that time, what would have been age be? 16, a 14 years, 16 years of age. I counted all my things together and said, do I have the resources to go out and become an artist? And I said, no, I don't have that. So that means for next 3 years, 4 years, I have to still go through this drill. So I said, anyway, I am not going to become an engineer. Whatever you do, I have filled the forms. You can take me to, I will go to the exams, I will sit there and I will come back, but I'm not going to become an engineer. And I was very upfront in saying that. And I have always been upfront. He said, fine, whatever you do, I don't mind. You can stay over here. You can, whatever you, there is no problem in that. So I said, fine. So I did. I went for the exams. I never wrote. I never even didn't see what were the questions. Okay, I just waited for that first 1 hour before which you can leave the exam, because after before the 1 hour you can't leave the exam. So I was the used to be always the first to submit the paper and come out of the exam. And of course, I didn't become an engineer. So the next option for me was to join the Bachelor of Science. So I joined the Bachelor of Science. And then again, also I knew that, okay, anyway, I have to become a graduate somewhere. And then in that duration, in that 3 years of duration of graduation, I found so many different avenues for me. The first year itself, when I joined that college, that the college was celebrating its silver jubilee, 25 years. So I became the cultural secretary of the college in the first year itself. The second year, I uh, basically I fought for the position of joint secretary. I didn't win it, of course. I was not. I didn't get that votes to win that, but I became. I came into that student politics. Now that gave me a very good exposure in two things: one, in communications, enhancing my communications, and second was in people management or people manipulation, whatever you may call it. What happens in politics? So these 3 years I was actually doing only this, and last 3 months our exams used to start in March. So January I used to start looking at, okay, what do I need to read, or what how many questions do I need to read so that I can pass this year and go move to the next year. And the best way to find that was the go to the most studious guys in the hostel or somewhere, and then, and because I was from the student union, of course I had some good uh, connections in that sense with these people. So I could always get that, okay, read these 5 chapters, you will get at least 40-50 marks and you will pass the exam. So that's how I went. That is how my academic career came up. So if today anybody asks me what is my academic qualification or what is my learning, academic learning, I would say I am only 10th pass. Okay. I am not anything beyond, because if I say that I am this and this and this, honestly, I never studied. I studied only till 10th. That is serious study and understanding what it is, what it is not, and everything, whether it was whatever subject it was. So till 10th, if you ask me any question, I'm happy to answer it. Beyond 10th, sorry, that's not. I never studied that. I may have that degree, but I didn't study that. So that's I think that this is the most honest confession I can make about my academic profile or academic profile. What you make, whatever you may call it. Too.
Thank you, Abhijit. That's a typical story. Like the default for any student in India is to become an engineer, then go and find what else you can do in life. But I'm glad that you managed to be stubborn and stick with your principles, which is great. From university, I'm sure you had a 30 plus years of career on that. Let's quickly run through your career timeline and how did you enter the proposal world, Vijit?
Okay, so from university, when I came out of the university, the first job I did, you won't believe what it has been. It was a quality control inspector of a cigarette manufacturing company. Okay, but then in 3 months, I learned this is not my job. The second job was that of a medical representative. In 2 months, I learned this is not my job. So 6 months were already gone after graduation. Now, what next? Now, it used to so happen that one of my friend, she used to tutor the daughter of the collector of, of the district city. And it was my job to go and uh, pick her up after she had finished, because and the agreement between us was that she was senior to me. Agreement was between us was that on the way home back, we'll stop by and we will have snacks at one place which she will fund, okay, with her earnings, okay. So it has so happened that we were I happened to go and pick her up, and she was getting a little bit late that day, and I was waiting outside, and I remember that was actually a Saturday, and she had gone on in the morning hours, around 11 o'clock. She was there, and I was there at 12, and it was very hot at that day. So I was waiting with my bike at 12 in front of the collector. So, but the security guards, they knew me that I used to come to pick up madam. Uh, so Mr. Collector, he was coming from somewhere, and the guards opened the gate, and I was just pushing my bike out, just away from there, and he saw me, and he just went in, and then he sent his guard, the sentry, to call me in. So the sentry told that he comes to pick madam, and my friend, she was that tutoring her for some more time. So he asked me to come in. So I went in there. His name was Prashant Mehta. I remember, still remember. So he asked me, so what do you do? So I said, right now, nothing. But I did this and I did this, and this is what I am, who I am. He said that, why don't you see? He said that even I come from a science background, and why don't you try something out in computers? And I am talking about now, this is 85. You know, what I said, what is computers? I said, I have heard about computers, but I don't know what to do with computers. He said, okay, tomorrow you come to my collectorate office. I will ask somebody to tell you what to do about computers. So next day I went. The collector has called me, was nothing more less than that. So I went to his office, and he said that, okay, he said to his secretary that take him to the NIC office, the National Informatics Center office, and asked me to introduce me to another guy. So this secretary took me to that guy, and then I had to just open my shoes, get my shoes off, and went into that room. And it was a chill, as summer. I told you it was summer, and it was a chilled AC room. And I saw this guy sitting and playing something with. And later I knew that that game was known as Pac-Man. Okay, so this guy is sitting and playing Pac-Man. I said, boss, there can't be such an interesting job sitting on a summer, sitting in a chilled AC room and playing a game, if this is the job of a computer, if this is what you do with computers. I said, what do I need to do if I have to learn computers? He said, join some courses in computers and learn. I said, where do I find these courses in computers? He said, you'll have them in your university, or you may have something around. And then he gave me some names of some institutions. NIT was there, and NIT, only NIT was there actually. There was NIT was there. So that day I came back home and I told my dad, I'm going to get into computers. And there was no more happier person than my dad, who said that, okay, at least now this guy has got some senses and he wants to get into computers. So that's how I got into computers. So that brought me to the world of computers. I didn't go to NIT, rather I joined a local course, not a local course, a course in a nearby city. Did some basic courses, basic and COBOL courses, and I went into the. And even before I completed my course, COBOL, I got an offer. There was I saw an ad, I applied for it, and there was an offer. And I went and joined, and this was a data processing agency. and I joined there, and I was quite confident. And on the very first day, uh, the boss, my boss, who was my boss, when he was going out, he just looked at me and says, "Okay, I hope you have gone through everything. You have understood everything." I said, "Yeah, I have understood." He said, "Okay, then today, by the end of the day, you take the backup of the systems. Once this the data entry is done, you take the backup of the systems." And then that was another second shock for me. Like, I have learned programming, but what is this all backup about? I don't know this backup and everything. And so I just went to the data entry operators, and then I said, "Oh, he has told me to take the backup." So he said, "Yeah, yeah, we are just finishing off. Once we finish off, you take the backup." I said, "Yeah, that's good, but I don't know how to take a backup, or how do I take a backup?" He said, "You don't know how to take a backup?" I said, "No, they didn't teach us in college, in the institute, how to take a backup. They taught us only programming." So I said, "No worries, I will teach you how to take a backup." So that was my second learning, that you have to learn something else to be in the industry. And then from there, the journey continued. I joined a public sector undertaking as a systems executive. And then from that public sector undertaking, I went for a training to a organization in Hyderabad, which was so basically this public sector undertaking was migrating from a Unify Axle, which was basically a mainframe based DB database, to Oracle. So we went to there. So I went for the training over there, and this training institution also had their own software division also, SQL Star. So there when I was interacting with those tutors, and then they said that, "What are you doing in that public sector undertaking? Why don't you join the software industry by itself?" So that was where my entry into the software industry happened. The mainstream software industry happened. And from there, I moved from one company to another company, and then finally I joined this company based out of Mumbai. uh, and this company was basically working in US government audits, and this is now 2000. Okay, so this is a journey from, say, 89 to 2000. And in 2000, and I joined this company as basically as a project leader, where I was working on an Oracle based project. And by that time I had mastered myself in Oracle, both on the front end side, the forms and report side, as well as the Oracle DB side. And I was a pure play technical. I enjoyed living that life. But 2010, then 2000, sorry, 2000, this major dot com burst was happening. Everybody was losing job and everything was happening. And this company used to be actually in the US state and local business. And somehow the company got a opportunity to bid for a big project, a project in US state. Basically, it was for the state of Florida. So I was given that responsibility to build the solution of for that particular uh, for that particular opportunity. So I put myself into it. I went into it, and that's existing incumbent vendor at that time was actually Accenture. It was a system which was built on Cold Fusion. I still remember Cold Fusion, and they wanted to migrate it from Cold Fusion to a new platform, a web-based platform. So for me, that was the big challenge as an architect to build something around that. So I took that risk and I built the solution, estimate, and everything. Luckily, we got shortlisted. And we got shortlisted. My boss said, "Down, you have to go to defend the solution." And that was my first visit to US to defend the solution. And again, that was a very interesting thing. We won the deal against the stalwarts. Accenture was the incumbent vendor. Unisys was Unisys, Compact, and we were the other ones, and we won the deal. So anyway, so somehow that established me or brought me into that RFPs. That was the first time in my life where I was exposed to a RFP. Till that time, I was on the other side. When I was in the public sector, I was actually writing specifications for the RFP. This time I was actually responding to a RFP. So you can literally say that was my entry into the world of proposals. That was my entry into the world of proposals.
Wow. And after you enter the proposal field, I'm sure you would have worked on multiple proposals, Abhijit. Any proposals comes to your mind in this past 20 years?
Oh, lot many. So my advantage was, Bhaskar, that although I was new to the world of the RFP, but because I had that solutions background, that technology background, and the solutions background, I could very easily understand what exactly is the customer's final outcome going to be. Okay. And I always used to build my story, that proposal story, around that final outcome. I always had that in my mind. Nobody is good. See, you don't look under the hood of a car to know how the car is performing. Okay, how the car would perform or how the car would run. The same exactly holds in terms of a solution. What you look for in a solution is not the code below the solution. You look for the interactions of the interactions, or what we call as the experience of that solution. Okay, so I always used to focus on the experience of the solution. Okay, but then in this process, and my focus was always on that, or used to be on that. But then again, my sales guys, the commercial guys, they used to bring in the other sides of it, the delivery guys, that you will always build a solution which is going to be the best of the solution, but would they be able to afford that solution? You have to also see that that is their budget, this is their budget, this is their budget. Within this budget, how can we deliver this type of a solution? Now that always used to be a point of uh, contraction for contradictory, or rather a point of conflict for me. So somehow I started moving around with these our sales guys and the delivery guys, and engaging with them. And then I started understanding and optimizing that this type of, so then I started, then what happened with me was that after reading a RFP and getting some insights, okay, this would be the optimum size of the deal, or this would be what you today call as the price to win, that this would be the optimum size, this would be the time frame within which they will be looking at the solution, and all those things. When you started getting understanding those things, I used to build my solution with those parameters. Now one such proposal came, one such RFP came, and I still remember it was from the state of Georgia, where they wanted a case management system which was out of the box, that is COTS solution. Now we had implemented several case management solutions, but they were all custom built. We didn't have anything which was basically, which we can call as the COTS, or the custom, sorry, out of the box solution, out of the box case management system. So my boss said, no, it's not for us. Let us drop this. I said, no, we will bid for it. I will build a story. So we took one very small product. We were partners with one of the major document imaging company at that time. But I just did some research, and I found out this small company called Handysoft. I still remember that company's name. I said, this company has this product, and this product has got all these features. We will propose this as a case management system. My boss said, are you gone nuts? This is a e-forms, workflow, and content management system, and that also a very small system. How do you say that this is a case management system? I said, leave that on me. So I built that entire solution around Handysoft, and we got shortlisted. Now my boss is in big trouble. My says that I don't know how are you going to go out and prove that Handysoft is a case management system. So I said, fine, leave it on me. So again, I flew to Georgia, and then I'm presenting the solution. And then they are asking, and one good one technique which I had learned out of my experience was that instead of using PowerPoint in the presentations, or even in the PowerPoints we are using, use screenshots of the application. So I used to basically visualize what would be the screens and what would be the flow of the screens. So I used to basically take people from one screen to other screen and tell them, this is where you are going to do this is how you are going to get this is how the reports would look like. So I would structure that, and they would believe that okay, that means everything is ready. Then they would ask me, then if everything is ready, then why would you take 6 months to deliver? Now that was a difficult question to answer, but I had again a story for it. I said, look, this is what we have done for this customer, but your needs are unique. Your needs, and we want to build something. Would you like to borrow their system and run it, or rather you would like to have something which is specific to your system for you? So they would agree, yes, we'd want it specific to our system. So I said, that's where you need 6 months. That's fine. And we got the deal. So people used to say that Abhijit can make anybody believe anything. Okay. He would sell a content management system as a case management system, and a case management system as a content management system. He would sell it to a what we used to call it case management for VIA, Workforce Investment Act, a case management solution as for a Workforce Investment Act for a as a case management for unemployment insurance. I said a case management is a case management. How does it differ? So, so this was one thing where people never believed that I could sell a an entirely different product as a another product and still win the contract.
Oh, that's a fascinating way to approach proposals and how you negotiate, persuade customers, Abhijit. So fast forward, Abhijit, at what point did you came across APMP, and from knowing APMP to coming to the board of APMP? Also talk us through your association with APMP, please.
Okay, so when I was working in this as I matured, moving from the solution architect position to becoming the head of the business, what do you call the business solution group? We used to call the business solution group, and where I was responsible for entire the nuances of the entire proposal writing. It was not only about just building the solution or just doing that. So and my team grew. It was not only the solution architect and the commercial guys and somebody else and delivery guys making the project plan, and the team became bigger, uh, managing the team, setting the processes. Now now in a delivery organization, they were following the project management practices. uh, Software the development team was following the software engineering practices. I was always looking out for what are the practices for bid management, and that is where during doing some research I came across APMP, and this is in 2009. So I said, let me become a, and till that time I never knew that even in India there was a APMP chapter or not. I actually there was not, and there was no chapter of APMP in India. So I became a member of APMP, but there were members of APMP from Nokia in Delhi who were members of APMP. So I became a member of APMP. I became a member of APMP. And when after I became a member of APMP, and when I got access to that APMP knowledge base, I went, it was like, wow, this is what I was looking for. This is how I can give a structure I can set a process for my team, for my organization. And that is from where my journey with APMP began. And that somewhere down the line, I found about the APMP certifications. But then I was a little apprehensive. And then again, another thing happened was that in 2010, I took a diversion from the career of bid and proposal management. Till that time, I was purely into bid and proposal management. So, of course, more from a solution side, but also again heading the bid and proposal management. I, with a couple of my ex colleagues, we formed a software product company. It was, you may call it the midlife crisis. That one day we were sitting in Delhi. I was in Delhi, and all my colleagues, these three colleagues, we all met, and we were sitting. And I said, like, what are we doing? We are taking orders and we are giving orders. Nothing beyond that. What is all these things we think about? We have thought, we have learned, and we have done. What are we doing about our life? So what is the legacy? What is our legacy going to be? So I said, okay, let's start a company. I said, but what will we do as a company? I said, of course, as a company, we are not going to do two things. One is, it is decided. One is that we are not going to get into staffing, and we are not going to get into services. So then, if we are not doing staffing and we are not doing services, the only thing left for us to do was to build a product. So we said, okay, let's build a product. But what product? That became the question. So three of us actually were from the delivery side. So we said that what is the biggest challenge do we see in the delivery side? Is that from the delivery, the biggest challenge what you see is the risk. Ultimately, what is a project manager maximum doing other than managing the resources is managing the risk. What if you can build something which can manage the risk for a project? So that is where Optimizery started. Okay, 2009. That was the birth of Optimizery. So I took a break from my professional career. I said bye. I told my wife was working, so I told my wife that okay, give me a break for next 2 years. I'm not going to do anything, and I'm going to build this. We are going to build this product. We started building the product. In 6 months, the product was ready. We started taking to the market, to everyone. Everybody said it's a good product, it's a great product, it's everything. But nobody was buying it. So we were, and by that time, we had spent literally 1 year, nearly 1.5 year. Although we were in a very frugal mode, we were doing just bootstrap. And at those times, we don't have these VCs and everyone. So the question came up is that what are we going to do next? And then we went back to went back to actually one of my very good friend who was also to whom we had proposed the product, and he also liked the product. He said that yeah, it's a good product, like the product, but even he didn't buy the product. So I went back to him and asked, okay, forget, you don't have to buy the product. But you tell me, why didn't you buy the product, or why are people not buying the product? He said, your product is actually scaring people. You are going out and telling these are the risks and these are the impacts of the risk, and this is the chances that we actually today we had used lot of simulations, Monte Carlo simulation, Carson simulations, math, all whatever we knew, we all implemented everything. We had taken a risk and rather we used to call it a risk encyclopedia. Like what are the all possible types of risk and what are the impact of each risk on another risk. So he said, your product scares people, and people will run out of their business if they start looking at your product. So do you think they will buy your product? I said, gosh, but we had such a honest thing to do. We wanted to tell them that these are the risks, and if you don't manage your risk, this is going to happen. He said, businesses run on risk. Businesses make their premium on risk. If you go and tell them that your business is on risk, close it down, nobody is going to buy your product. That's the lesson three we are learned. Don't build a product without involving your customer. First build first 5 customers and then build a product. Before that, don't build a product. I said, okay, lesson learned, go back. So we went back again to the drawing board and then we said, okay, let us do something. By that time, we were literally on the verge of drying out and this was all till day we are Bhaskar, we are a zero debt company. Okay, so this is all personal funded. So that's the time, and this is 2000, yeah, end of 2010, yeah, 11. So we made a decision that two of us will go back to jobs and we will support the company, and two of our other partners, they will run the show in the company, and we will build some other product, some new product. So two of us, we decided to go back to job, and I was one of them. So again, I come back to the industry, and again I join another company as a head of sales enablement. And that's exactly, but by that time I had known about APMP. Now that's where again I start coming back to AP, saying in implementing APMP practices and other things. And that's when my interest in APMP started growing up. And meanwhile, I got connected with Sam Singh from Shipley. Sam and me, we got connected, and we said, yeah, we need to do so. And I continued my membership with APMP, even though I was not doing bid management, my membership continued with it. So Sam and me, we thought of building up the APMP local chapter in India. So Sam and me, we took a lot of efforts. In fact, Rick Harris in one of his, in fact, the APMP membership went up, and Rick Harris in one of his executive notes, he said that India is emerging as a hub of as a is seeing a growth in APP, and he actually acknowledged the efforts of Sam Singh and myself. Uh, well, so that happened something around 2011, yeah, 12, something around that. And 2014, I decided that I should go for the certification. This good time that I should now go for the certification. So I went for I think early 2014, I went for my certification, a foundation level certification. And 2014 was the Chicago BPC convention. So Chicago, I went and I appeared for my practitioner level, and that's where I met for the first time Kathy Day and Tony Bridge. So that's where and of course, yeah, I'm forgetting it's my bad. I was forgetting that in between I got in touch with Charlie Devine. I would say that he was literally my mentor, who took me by who took me in his what I say the word. I really when it comes to Charlie, I really get emotional, so emotional about him. Such a great person, such a person I would like. Such a fatherly figure, love, full of love, so much of love and so much of knowledge, and so much of humility in him. So Charlie, in the entire Chicago convention, I remember Charlie. It was Charlie, me, and Kathy and Tony. So whenever we had to take a smoke break, Tony and me would walk out. When we would come back, it was even on the dinner, the convention dinner, we four were sitting in one day, and that's where I actually appeared for my practitioner level, for my first practitioner level. So, and I was very nervous, specifically, Kathy Day, right? In front of Kathy, anybody can go nervous. The best of the people will go nervous in front of Kathy. So I was pretty nervous in front of Kathy, and when she was interviewing me, because that time we used to have the interviews for the practitioner level. So she was interviewing me, and I was telling her, "This is how do I do. This is what I have done. This is how I have implemented in my organization." Then I honestly confessed in front of her that, Kathy, I don't think I know much about the standard practices of APMP but whatever I have learned, this is how I have learned. And I still remember Kathy made one comment that, Abhijit, you know more than you think you know. I said, there can't be any more a more profound statement like that, and I will keep it in my heart. And she said that, I want you to be the first. And she declared that day that, yeah, you have cleared your, yeah, you have cleared your test. I only need to test the. I need to interview your reference, and when I'm done with that reference interview of reference, you will be awarded the practitioner level certification. So that was one when I went in that. Of course, after 2014, again 2016, I took a break. And 2016, by that time, I went back to my company Optimizery. I was doing a lot of things in Optimizery. Actually 2013 onwards we started growing. Today, thank God, my to my other partners, I didn't do much. I came out of the company to support the company, but my other partners, Sanjay and Pankaj, they took it. Today, we are proud that our two of our products are extremely doing good. They are they are very systems oriented. We are actually mostly most of us are actually very systems oriented. I am the only guy who is commercial oriented, but by all my three other partners are systems oriented. And we had our one of our partners, Sanjay. He's a sort of a visionary, so he had a vision for the products. He had a vision for the company, and both the products are being pretty good and pretty unique and pretty recognized. And they have a very niche segment, basically. Means I would like to make a point here that out of the top 10 defense companies in US, six of the companies use our product. Okay, so that's the intensity of the product. So that added a product flavor to my profession, other than the solution flavor, being in a product, having be a co-founder of a product company. So that's where it is. And well, my APMP journey after that was not much engaged. Yeah, but I was always involved. I attended the San Diego conference again, and that's that time when I went for my professional level. I completed my, came back, and again Tony Bitch. Luckily, Tony Bitch and Kathy Day were my examiners for the professional level. And then finally one day, so, Rupesh Singh, who is the APMP India, he called me up, said that we want you to be in the board of APMP India. I said, well, I can be there in the board of India, but you have to tell me what do I need to do in the APMP board of India. They said, no, no, you have got a good network, you have got a good connection, and you have a great community. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing what I did was that, yeah, I built up a community from 2014 onwards. I have been actually building up a community of bid and proposal managers, and today I think we have more than 800 people who are in those community, in the WhatsApp group, in Telegram groups, in different WhatsApp groups. So different interest groups, state and local group, federal group, bids and community groups, so many different groups. So we have today 800 plus people who are members, who everybody may not be APMP member, but they are into bid and proposal management. So yeah, there's a big community of professionals who are into bid and proposal management. May not be everybody is a part of the APMP, but now more or less most of them have actually become a part of the APMP community, APMP group. So yeah, so after that, yes, we had our, then okay, good to see, it was good to see Sam in the same group in the as a board of director. Then we had Sanjay and Sunil. Of course, I met Sanjay, Sunil, Sampada, and Avilasha for the first time in the group. But yeah, we found that we are one bunch together. And then we have been doing all these activities. We had some good webinars. We had the BPC, which became a great success. You are there in the BPC India. So that's all of what we have been doing in APMP India.
Wow, that's a very long a journey there, and that tells you that how you have played an instrumental role from the very early stages in building up the community in India, and you're becoming like the feeder for APMP. That APMP in India might have like 200, 300 members. You have 800 members, and looks like you have been a feeder for India for a very long time. Abhijit, continue to inspire. So for now, we have talked about your life, career, APMP, bids and proposals. Let's just spend the next 15, 20 minutes about you, Abhijit. You did give a
Mhm.
flavor of who you are in the very first 20 minutes about how you chose to be in dramatics and other things. But what do you do in your free time? What are your hobbies and interests?
Oh, my interest right now is watching Netflix. Okay, so I take up a series, web series, a series, and if I find it interesting, I can't go to sleep till the time I end it. Very means I get literally beaten up by my daughter, like, that, like, when are you going to just get the earplugs off and just come out? I watch it on my Mac, so I don't disturb on the TV. But yeah, so watching Netflix is yeah, international movies. Not specific. I don't really watch Indian movies. Much of Indian movies I watch, do watch them, but uh, but I watch international movies, whether it's a Spanish movie or Italian movie or a French movie or a movie from UK, or of course the Hollywood movies. But yeah, genre I like and the type of movies I like. Yeah, I watch those series, movies, and the series. So that's one thing which I do. Second thing is which I do is, yeah, I am totally into now uh, design thinking and design sprints. These are two areas. Meanwhile, I did my agile scrum master, agile scrum certification, as well as agile product owner certification. So these two certifications I completed, and then right now, okay, I did my design thinking from MIT uh, under Steve Uppinger. Okay, that was another great learning. And design sprints, which is something which I am following, and somewhere I'm trying to find out ways how of what you can bring in from other areas into proposal management. You can't just simply go away, follow that's what I was talking to Sam the other day, that how long would you continue with that 96 process? Is there any way that we can bring something new there? Or is there, don't we think that there is a, it's time that we start thinking, start looking at it from a new perspective? And this time, when in the BPC, I don't know if you could attend it or not. I had one session on design thinking. It was greatly appreciated that how and I started that by default we actually bid managers are design thinkers. Only thing is that we don't we have not given it a structure. We are not using the right methods, or maybe we don't know about the methods. So I'm now thinking, what I'm looking at and how I'm looking at this basically is how we can bring in uh, some more, because of course the experience today we live in the world of experience. Everything is measured, perceived in terms of experience. How can we make a proposal experience? How can we make a proposal, a evaluator's proposal experience, say wow? How, what can we do in that area, and how can we look at a proposal from a product perspective? Because that's what I said, that okay, a product it has to meet a need, has to have a market, has to meet a need, has to deliver a value. A product has got a set of features. A product has got a set of functionalities. The same holds for a proposal. You are submitting a proposal for to satisfy a need. Your proposal has to have a value. Your proposal has to have a solution with features and functionalities. So, what if you could manage the way you manage a proposal product, The way, that same way you can manage a product. And that is nothing, no way different. Because APMP body of knowledge today gives us a set of best practices. But we need to find out how to get those best practices into a process. And I don't say that that process has to be only one process. It can be a process like a design sprint. It can be a process like a agile process. It can be a product management process. Anything. But somewhere you have to bring in that. So that is something which is interesting. But yes, other than that, yeah, I am now engaged with DraftSpark. That was one big engagement part of my life now, and I live with that product now. It's a it's a revolutionary product. It is going to change the way things we look at the things, and yeah, and this comes from Xerox, so definitely I don't need to say anything about it. The amount of research and the amount of the amount of technology innovation that has gone into that product. So yes, I as a technology as a, I just wanted to correct you there. I'm not a technology evangelist. I'm a product evangelist. So I try to bring in what pains of a bid manager can DraftSpark solve, or a how DraftSpark actually augments the power of a proposal manager to create value. So the proposal manager is not just only to deliver the proposal, but also to create a value in the proposal. So how DraftSpark augments that. So that's something what I am working on. That keeps me engaged. And plus, I have now that InGlory is also a ATO of APATO. So this regular uh, training programs which come from this community, and I don't go beyond my community. I have got within my community who come and tell, okay, when is the next batch going to? I said fine, let, because that helps me to be on the ground. That actually the training programs help me to be grounded, and that keeps my ears on the ground. I hear what are the new things happening, what are the new ways people are looking at it, what are the new ways people are thinking about it. So all this I like and there are of course seniors are there, but most of them are the mid-level guys who go through that entire grind. They tell this is how it is happening, this is how it is happening, this is how we do it, this is what we don't get. And that helps me to understand what is their pain areas, and that helps me to share my experiences to help them that how they can solve those pain areas. So that keeps me engaged all through, right? I don't think I get any time for beyond that.
Yes, Abhijit, totally. It's a full on for you. Abhijit, let's spend the next 5 minutes rapid random fire, some random questions, and
Okay.
let's try to cover. Don't think too much, just whatever comes in your mind. Let's just go for a
Okay.
blast.
No, I
Right.
never think. I just react.
Perfect. Yes. So, who would win a fight between Spider-Man and Batman?
Well, if the Spider-Man can get into the Batman's ears, the Batman will lose.
Okay. What kind of secret society would you like to start?
Underground music.
Okay. Describe the color red to somebody who's blind.
How would you feel when you touch something hot?
Okay. If you could pick up a new first name, what would be your new first name?
Bitu?
Okay. Do you think aliens are real?
Why not?
Why do you think aliens are not real or real?
Well, are we not aliens for someone?
Okay, good one. What trait do you like the most about yourself?
I'm upfront. I'm blunt.
What's on your bucket list?
Oh, that's a long one, Master. But yeah, the first one right now, if you ask me, after the lockdown gets over, is to go to some beach of Konkan, just chill myself out with the Konkan food. That's the first thing on my bucket list right now. Rest, and then I will plan my next bucket list from there. I will prioritize my bucket list sitting over there. But right now, my first prior bucket list is to go to a beach of Konkan and just chill there.
Nice. What is something you have that is of sentimental value?
Uh, a few bad memories.
What's the nickname that your friends have given you and what does it mean?
You'd laugh at it. Hagdu.
Hagdu. It's
Yeah.
so cute. It's super cute. Who are the people who have been the most influential in your life and career?
First one was actually all my bosses have been very influential on me, and I touched wood, I was always so lucky to have such good bosses. Uh, I fought with them, but the way they mentored me, whatever I am today because of my bosses, and of course my partners, my partners, my friends. They are not my partners, they are my brothers, my friends, Sanjay, Deepak, Pankaj, and of course my bosses like my ex boss, Mr. Surjit Kapoor, late Surjit Kapoor, my boss Ravi Kadam. All these bosses, even my boss and Pramila, she was all Ganesh. They are all like, they have been so mentored me kindly. And then of course two people whom I should actually who gave me a very great opportunity to be what I am and learn from them. One of them is Dr. Ajay Kumar, who is the Defense Secretary of India now, and another just retired is Dr. Ram Sevak Sharma, Mr. Ram Sevak Sharma, who is the father of Aadhaar and was the TRI chairman. So these I have worked very closely with them during the launch of the Digital India program. I was one of the project. I was leading one of the projects during the when Prime Minister. I was actually sitting on the third row when the Prime Minister launched the Digital India initiative, because I was leading one of the projects of our Digital India.
Wow, that's great to hear, Abhijit, the man of multiple talents. Abhijit, who's the kindest person you know?
Oh, every person around me,
Mm.
anybody who bears me is kind to me, right? But yeah, I think my wife would stand in would top the list.
100%. I would 100% agree with that. So we are in this COVID crisis, as you know. What have you observed lately that reminded you that people are kind?
Oh, very much. I think people, the way people remind, even if somebody like I have seen like in our the society in which we live in that society, uh, we had these housemaids and the car washers and everyone. Uh, Now these people, they were restricted from getting into the society. People were restricted from moving from any one other, and these were daily wage earners. They were month to month earner, daily wage earners, month to month earners. But the way people have helped them, people did we didn't discontinue our maid, we didn't discontinue our driver, we didn't discontinue the salary of it. And it's not only about us. I have seen this with empty number of people. So people have realized, see, ultimately, no, but there is nothing called a bad person. It is only the situation or the perception that is bad. No human being is bad. God doesn't. We don't. We are never born as bad, a bad child.
100% agreed with you on that, Abhijit. Abhijit, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
Oh, if my English would have been little better.
That's nice. I think, we all have English as second language, but we are doing our best and we can always evolve. That's so nice of you and humble of you to just say that. That's nice. Thank you, Abhijit. What's the best piece of advice you have received and from whom?
Okay. The best piece of advice I have received was from my ex-boss. My ex-boss, vice president, is that if a hand hits a wall, it's the hand which gets hurt, not the wall. The choice is yours. You want to be the hand or the wall.
That's a super powerful advice, 100%, totally. So, what advice would you give professionals who are looking to pursue a similar careers like yours?
I would say is that be a contrarian. Just don't buy in what is given to you. Look for, there is always a better way of doing it. Find that way and make it your way. If you follow others, you will never be a leader. If you lead others, you will always be leader.
Very powerful advice, Abhijit. Abhijit, a long career, 30 plus years, dramatics very early on, all the way to science degree, IT career, proposal career, digital technology, and also into training. So many hats that you wear. What's next for you, Abhijit?
Oh, that one is a dream and wish that it comes very soon is to open a roadside farm to table restaurant.
Hmm. What type of food would you like to serve? Are you a chef or do you like to cook?
Yeah, I love cooking. I
Nice.
love cooking.
Perfect. And the restaurant would be what type, Abhijit?
Well, it would be anything that can be made fresh, right from
Hmm.
farm to the table.
Got
So,
you. Yeah. Interesting. I'll be looking forward. Abhijit, stop doing all the 100 things that you're doing and focus on this, Abhijit. You know, I would like to come to your restaurant to have a meal, for a
most
non-resident.
welcome, most welcome, most welcome. You are most welcome for that. This because that's something I would love to do. That's something
Yes,
the dream I have.
totally, Abhijit, totally. Abhijit, we talked about your life, career, hobbies, interest, a few random questions, people influential in your life and career, and also touched about kindness, COVID, so on. So, is there any part of your life or career that we missed, or is there anything else you would like to say in the last minute of the podcast episode?
I don't think there is anything. In fact, Bhaskar, honestly,
Hmm.
I have never thought about my life as much as you have made me think about it in last 60 minutes. If
Nice.
it is 60 minutes.
That's so kind of you, Abhijit. I think, yeah, I'm sure if we go for one more round, we can fill up another 1 hour of what you have done for
Oh
people
God,
around
I
you.
know.
It's you're considered by time as a vegetable.
No,
We'll always come back to you, Abhijit.
actually, Bhaskar, you are making me wonder that there has been so many things happening in my life. Really?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Oh
I think,
God.
yeah, perfect. Abhijit, keep giving, keep inspiring. It's been an absolute privilege to have you with us at Scribble Talk. Please do.
Hello.
Hi, Abhijit. Sorry, I received the
Sorry.
call and things start to hammer. But don't
Oh,
worry. I think what I was saying here was um, keep inspiring, stay healthy, and it's been an absolute privilege to have you with us at Scribble
same
Talk.
here with me, Bhaskar. It was one of the most enjoyable and memorable, and you have literally put me to think right now. Okay, so now I'm thinking, okay, my God, has so many things happened with me. I never thought about them.
Yes, you have to write a book, Abhijit.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, but yeah, I do have to write a book. Definitely, I would write, and that's not going to be on proposals.
Yeah, write your biography, from where you started all the way from Bilai, Bengali tradition, and where you are now, and the 800 plus people that you have touched. I'm sure there is a lot of journey that you had here. We'll be so
Yeah,
looking forward
yeah.
to this. But most important thing is stay healthy, and look after yourself and continue to inspire everybody around you, Abhijit. Take good care. And hopefully I'll see you next year in one of the APMP conference, or on my way to see my mom in Coimbatore. I'll drop by to
Yeah.
Pune to see you.
Definitely, definitely, Bhaskar. We will catch up. Thank you so much, and it was so great. I'm so grateful to invite me over here. It was great spending this 1 hour with you. Thank you so much, Bhaskar. Take care.
Thank,
Take care of your family. Stay well. Stay good.
thank you, Abhijit. Take care.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchuscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Bhaskar Sundram,
signing off.